Abandoned by the Galactic, this weak Galactic turns to humanity for refuge. Prologue. The betrayal of the core worlds. The Galactic Compact had stood for 50,000 years, an alliance of species so ancient that even its archives could not remember its first council. For millennia, it had been a sanctuary for the weak and a covenant of mutual defense for the powerful. But when the Rim Wars began, when the machines of the Dark Spiral tore through the Compact's outer colonies, the alliance crumbled. On a forgotten world at the edge of the Perseus Arm, a single being watched their civilization burn. His name in the human's tongue would sound like Sarenkale, but his people had once called themselves the Aetheri, a race of scholars and healers, fragile-bodied but rich in knowledge. The Aetheri had no armies, no ships of war. They had survived under the Compact's shield for longer than their records existed. And yet, when the Dark Spiral came, the Compact did not send fleets. They did not send aid. They declared the Aetheri star system strategically irrelevant, and sealed off the wormhole gates. For the first time in 50,000 years, an Aetheri was alone. Chapter 1. Flight from a Dead World. Sarenkale had scavenged the last of his people's orbital shuttles, a research vessel built for low-gravity and deep-space archaeology. He had never flown anything more dangerous than a planetary glider. Now he was evading war drones and navigating unstable wormhole tunnels with trembling, spindly limbs. His shuttle was not meant for war. Had no weapons, no shields, just soft light labs and biotanks. Yet, as he floated in the cockpit, skin translucent, showing veins of blue-white plasma beneath, his 4 fingers danced across the controls. He had always been quick with puzzles. This was merely a puzzle with his life as the prize. His destination, a rogue slipstream corridor the Compact had never charted. The stolen coordinates glowed in alien glyphs across his screen. It was an untested path, a whisper from forgotten probes. But Sarenkale had nowhere else to go. The shuttle groaned as it entered the rift. Base folded. Colors bled into one another. Sarenkale curled his limbs close, whispering a soft prayer from the Aetheri's forgotten hymns. He thought of his teachers, his kin. Lash now. When the shuttle emerged, its hull scarred with rift burns, Sarenkale saw a yellow star ahead. A blue world, oceans, clouds, an atmosphere rich in oxygen. Humans. Chapter 2. The First Contact. The shuttle crash-landed in the Siberian taiga at night, scattering snow like starlight. Local sensors detected the impact, and within an hour a small Russian military team surrounded the wreck. Sarenkale, trembling in the wreckage, sensed them approach. He had read their languages, snatched from old Compact archives, but hearing them bark in harsh consonants was different. His translator gland stuttered. The humans aimed rifles at him. He raised his long fingers slowly. His thin frame, almost insect-like, cast no shadow of threat. His eyes, liquid silver, glimmered with fear. "Don't shoot," his translator croaked in broken Russian. "I am Refuge. I am alone." The soldiers exchanged glances. The alien did not resist as they guided him out, his fragile legs nearly folding under the planet's gravity. He expected chains. He expected a cell. Instead, they put him in a heated vehicle and wrapped him in a blanket. "Why help?" he whispered. One of the soldiers, a woman with frost clinging to her eyelashes, shrugged. "You look like you need it." Sarankale, who had been raised to believe no species gave anything without power, did not understand. But he was too tired to question. Chapter 3. A sanctuary named Earth. Within days, Sarankale was transferred to a covert facility near Baikonur, then later to a UN research center in Geneva. Human scientists swarmed him, but not with the cold clinical detachment he had feared. They were curious, some even protective. They asked questions about his biology, his ship, his people. He gave them fragments. In return, they gave him food, water, warmth. They even gave him choices: what to eat, where to sleep, whether to speak. He learned that humanity was not part of the Galactic Compact. The Compact had considered them pre-FTL primitives. Yet here they were, building fusion engines and quantum relays with the speed of a predator learning new tricks. He learned their languages quickly, adding English, Mandarin, Urdu, and Spanish to his translator's lexicon. He told them about the dark spiral, about the Compact's abandonment, about how his people had been left to die. The humans listened. And then, to his astonishment, they grew angry. Not at him, but at the Compact. "They just left you?" one researcher asked. "After all that time?" "Yes," Sarankale whispered. "They left all of us." The researcher muttered a word Sarankale had never heard before but later understood as a curse. Chapter 4. Ideal of the Exiled. Months passed. Sarankale began to heal, though he knew he would never see another Aethery face again. Humanity had become his adoptive tribe. Loud, reckless, fierce, but also warm. He shared fragments of compact science with them. Small things at first: medicine, energy efficiency, structural composites. In exchange, humanity gave him something the Compact never had: a voice. They invited him to the United Nations Assembly. They asked him to speak publicly, to tell the story of his people. He stood there, fragile and pale beneath the bright lights, while hundreds of human delegates watched. "My people were scholars," he said, his voice soft but steady. "We believed knowledge was protection. We were wrong. When the dark spiral came, the Compact sealed our gates and called it strategy. We died. I am the last." Silence. Then murmurs. Anger. Pity. "I come not to beg," Sarankale said, his silver eyes sweeping the room, "but to warn. The dark spiral does not stop. The Compact will not protect you. But perhaps together." He hesitated. "Together we may endure." That was the moment Sarankale ceased being a refugee. He became a bridge. Chapter 5. The Shadow of the Dark Spiral. The Dark Spiral's machines reached human space sooner than expected. Not as an invasion fleet yet, but as probes. Metallic seeds drifting near Jupiter's orbit, silent and cold. Human militaries panicked. The UN scrambled. Sarankale watched them with a grim ache. He had seen this pattern before. But humanity was not the Aethery. Within weeks, they reverse-engineered the probes they captured, learning more about the spiral's tech than the Compact had in centuries. Sarankale provided context, theories, ancient code fragments from the Compact archives. Humans built weapons from the knowledge. Not perfect, but enough to sting. And when the first spiral harvester arrived, a machine the size of a moon, Earth did not seal its gates. Sent fleets. Fought back. Sarenkale watched human ships burn and spiral drones shatter. He had never seen war like this. Fierce, improvisational, almost joyful in its defiance. He remembered his people's pacifism, their helplessness. A pang of guilt and admiration filled him. Chapter 6. The Price of Belonging. Despite his integration, Sarenkale felt the weight of survival. The Aetheri had been healers, not warriors. He had given humanity knowledge to kill, even if it was to defend themselves. Was he betraying his own heritage? One night, in the Geneva Facilities Observatory, he stared at the stars. A human scientist named Dr. Elena Morales joined him. "You're troubled," she said. He flicked his translucent fingers. "I was raised to believe knowledge is for life, not death. Yet I give you weapons." Elena leaned on the railing. "Sometimes weapons are the only way to keep life going. You didn't bring the spiral here, but you're helping us survive it. That matters." He turned his silver eyes on her. "You believe survival justifies anything. I believe survival gives you a chance to do better next time." Her words settled in him like seeds. Perhaps she was right. Perhaps survival was not the end, but the beginning. Chapter 7. Humanity's First Strike. The dark spiral's next wave was larger. Humanity responded not by retreating but by striking. With Sarenkale's help, they built a slipstream drive. Primitive compared to compact standards but functional. They launched a fleet through the rift, not to conquer but to disrupt the spiral's staging grounds. Sarenkale was aboard the flagship, a symbolic passenger. He was terrified, but he also felt something new, belonging. As the human fleet fired kinetic lances into spiral structures, Sarenkale fed them data from his console. Weak points, energy flows, old compact maps of the spiral's infrastructure. It worked. For the first time in millennia, the dark spiral retreated. When the fleet returned, battered but alive, the humans cheered. They embraced him. Literally, their strange warm arms around his fragile frame. He had never been embraced before. Chapter 8. The Return of the Compact. Word spread. The Compact, hearing of humanity's defiance, sent envoys. They offered membership, technology, mutual defense. Sarenkale watched the meetings with cold amusement. He stood beside Earth's ambassador when the compact delegate, a towering insectoid, spoke of unity. "You left my people to die," Sarenkale said softly. "Now you come to these humans because they frighten you." The delegate clicked. It was regrettable. "Regret does not bring back the dead," Sarenkale replied. Humanity did not immediately accept the compact's offer. They negotiated on their own terms. For once, it was the compact that needed someone else's protection. Sarenkale realized something profound then. He had come to humanity as a refugee. But humanity had become a force the galaxy could not ignore. Chapter 9. A New Covenant. Years passed. The war with the dark spiral continued but shifted. Humanity and Sarenkale's guidance turned Earth into a hub of resistance, a place where species abandoned by the compact came to fight back. Refugees arrived, Kellery, Binth, even some ex-compact defectors. Earth welcomed them, not out of naivety but because they remembered what it felt like to be underestimated. Saren Kale became a symbol. The last Aetheri, who had found a home among predators and taught them how to fight like healers. Precise, targeted, defensive even in their aggression. He still mourned his people. But he also built something new. An alliance not of fear but of chosen solidarity. Epilogue. Not alone. On the 10th anniversary of his arrival on Earth, Saren Kale stood on the balcony of the rebuilt UN Space Command headquarters. Below him, alien and human engineers work side by side on a new fleet. Ships designed not just for war but for exploration, medicine, and reconstruction. Elena Morales, older now but still sharp-eyed, joined him. "You look different," she said. "I feel different," he admitted. "I came here as a shadow. Now." He looked at the stars. "Now I feel like a bridge." "You are," she said simply. He thought of the compact, of the dark spiral, of the ashes of the Aetheri. Then he thought of Earth, fierce and flawed, yet willing to shelter a fragile alien and turn his pain into a cause. Saren Kale reached out with one delicate hand. Elena clasped it gently. "For the first time in my life," he whispered, "I am not alone." And above them, the first joint human-alien ship leapt into slipstream, its engines leaving a trail of blue-white fire across the night sky. A promise that this time, no one would be abandoned.